it keeps me up at night. I'm like thinking like, what the hell is this? Because with Brian's personal change, his neighborhood change, like that's crazy.
This is how the human beings that are affected with the Mandela effect are driving themselves crazy. Their brains, they go into a loop. Their brains just go around and around like a dog chasing its own tails. Presenting another dose of stupidity. Thank you, Brian.
Like I have a very, very concrete memory of going to see this movie in 2014, not just by myself, but with my family, with my mom, my dad, my sister, and her husband. And we went to go see this movie in 2014. Now, in this reality, or whatever you want to call it, it's always came out in 2019. But for me, that is just impossible.
Here's some evidence I found about the multiverse, how we are traveling from Earth to Earth, and each Earth has different history. Here we go, down the rabbit hole. Here's my disclaimer. This is what happens when you're stuck on changes.
When you have a personal change, it's like a whole nother level, with the Mandela effect. It's very personal. So with the Lion King, this we're talking about is the Lion King live action movie. And this movie for me, and there's some other people out there as well, but this movie for me, this movie came out in 2014 and it was the live action movie, CGI live action. It wasn't the cartoon version at all. So this movie for me came out in 2014. And then I believe around late 2019 or early 2020 is when I heard that this movie, the live action movie, came out in 2019. And I was just absolutely blown away because like I have a very, very concrete memory of going to see this movie in 2014, not just by myself, but with my family.
This YouTube creator named Blue Pac-Man 13 is having deja vu that he saw The Lion King 5 years before it came out. That means there's a multiverse where he was at, that movie was playing. This is what the confusion is, that the multiverse is screwing with us. Thank you for watching.
With my mom, my dad, my sister, and her husband. And we went to go see this movie in 2014. Now, in this reality, or whatever you want to call it, it's always came out in 2019. But for me, that is just impossible. And in fact, I haven't even seen the 2019 version. I haven't seen the 2019 version yet. So I have no idea how it's going to compare to my memory, but I haven't even seen it yet. So this movie, the live action CGI, is realistic CGI based off of realistic lion behavior and movement. And this is completely different than a cartoon. With a cartoon, it's not realistic. A cartoon is just, a drawing with color added to it, and very simplified. Like, this is completely different. So I'm not mixing up any of the memories between the two. And in fact, many people like to say, well, in 2014, is the 20th anniversary of The Lion King. You're just mixing it up with them re-releasing the movie in theaters. But the problem with that theory is that if you look into it and you research it and you dig into it, there was no re-release for the 20th anniversary of The Lion King 1994 in the movie theaters in 2014, which by itself is pretty crazy because why not? It's the 20th anniversary. Why wouldn't you have a re-release of the 1994 in theaters? Why not? This for me is pretty big because, it's not only me, but my family that I remember going to go see it with. And I do have some residue to show for it. Actually, there's people that remember it being 2014. And there's like a whole fan page that was created about this movie, this film for 2014. So it's like a movie that's going to be announced, yet it never existed.
That's wild that you saw the live version on 2014, 5 years before it got released in 2019. I remember it got released in 2019, the live version. But you're saying you saw it 5 years prior? You, sister, and her husband, correct?
Yeah, 5 years.
When you hear people talking like this, they say, oh, there's a glitch in the matrix. No, this is not a matrix or a simulation. This is the multiverse. Glitching is called deja vu. This is memories that we have, that we collected on other Earths. That's why we're misremembering over here. We don't recognize the history of this planet. So it's driving us crazy.
That's wild. That meant that you were in a different reality. Doesn't that mean isn't that true? If that's true, that you were in a different reality watching a movie that didn't exist for me in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
This is proof that other Earths have the same Lion King. It came out, the same movie came out because the same people made that movie, but it made it 5 years ago. That is called the multiverse, and it's glitching because this guy's having deja vu. That means he was on another Earth where that movie was created before we came here on the Orion. This explains that the multiverse is real. This is what Einstein was saying. Everything has quantum entanglement, same timeline, and quantum physics explains all this. And that they were talking about is real. It's not a theory anymore. Because the travelers from Sagittarius arm are proving that those theories are correct. We are the proof.
So how do you explain that?
I just did.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've been trying to wrap my head around it. It's just like the Mandela effect. Like how do you explain what's causing the Mandela effect? It's like an endless it's like an endless
rabbit hole
quandary. Let's see if I could. So right now in this reality, the Lion King live action movie. So here's the weird part, right? So the first time when the plans were made to make this movie now is in September of 2016. Now, I'd already seen the movie in 2014, all right? This movie, the first plans for it, the director, Jon Favreau, came out in September of 2016 that they were going to make a remake of The Lion King 1994, but it was going to be a live-action CGI movie. But here's the crazy part. There's people on Quora.com. This question is dated October 13th, 2015, well over a year prior to when the September 2016 announcement was made that they were going to make a remake of the 1994. So this question came out 2015. How did the Lion King animators study lions in order to draw realistic lions for the movie. Like, what? Get this, Hugh. This question was asked in 2015 of October.
This proves that Dale Dufay is correct. The super Earth time is slower. On the Orion spur is 5 years faster than the super Earth. That's why the dates don't match. And that explains why time is faster here.
Plans for the movie to be remade now in this current timeline wasn't until a year after this question was made in September of 2016. How is this person asking this question in 2015?
You're saying this is residue proof that it came out in 2014.
It's a very mental piece of residue that somebody asked a question. This is like it's like a residue type of question.
Because maybe they watched it in 2014, similar to you.
That explains that there was another traveler that came with you with the same memory that traveler saw that movie where you were at. That's how it explains that residue. That traveler came with you. We're the same place you got that memory from. You're not going crazy. There's other travelers with your same memory.
This person, yeah, they watched it. Maybe it was a different time. You don't know how the Mandela effect works, but this question doesn't make sense because now in this reality, plans for a movie didn't get to the public knowledge until September of 2016. So how can this person ask this question?
This is how residue evidence is created. People, they don't know they're on another Earth.
At all. This doesn't make any sense. And they're using the term realistic. So they're not referring to a cartoon version of the movie. They're referring to the realistic version of the movie.
This is the problem with human beings that I'm finding out about the Mandela effect, that people like to make things complicated. Dale Dufay says what we are looking at are differences, not changes. We are the ones changing, not the physical. As simple as that. They're driving themselves crazy.
The lion, I think there's more to it towards the lion, pointing towards the creator. It's showing us a way. Yeah, it was definitely 2014, maybe early 2015. Because
is it a glitch in the Matrix? Are we in a Matrix or something?
I had to.
This is how smart people sound stupid. Time is faster here. That's it. That's the answer. And whatever happens on that Earth, whatever you do on that Earth, that same avatar is doing it on this Earth. The same timeline, quantum entanglement. Whatever happens over there, it happens here.
Dude, it keeps me up at night. You know, I'm like thinking like, what the hell is this? You know, because with Brian's personal change, his neighborhood changed, you know, like that's crazy. Like that's weird details that it's so weird. And then it says they applied all this research to create realistic and accurate lion characters for the film. So like, how is this possible in 2015? This guy asks a question.
This guy goes on and on and on.
What if they're watching us? It's not a human consciousness that's doing it, but anyway, that's another theory. But right here we can see on Twitter my top 5 movies. The Lion King 2014 version is my favorite. What?
So she saw it with you. She probably sat next to you in the theater.
Dude, so I found this on Twitter, right? I'm like, wow, what in the world? So somebody else remembers it just like I do. 2014. This is some interesting type of residue.
These guys are trying to figure out the quantum computer and I don't know what. But this lady is proof that she has her own memory. A computer did not put this memory in her head. That the memories that you have are yours because you were there. You recorded those memories on that Earth. That's why we can confirm that the multiverse is real.
And then, of course, what was that?
Mind blown.
Same website, Fancasty, you know, Lion King 2014. Gave me the so
These people been talking about changes for 15 years. Changes that never happened.
it came out in a different reality. So it's like it's to be announced in this reality.
That is humans for you.
So weird.
So after all this digging, what is your conclusion?
I've been trying to figure out, like, could we be like a dream within a dream type of like where we're like the place where we live? Like, is it like a dream reality? Are we in the mind of God? And God is kind of like shifting some things around in his mind. And that's what's going on. Kind of like, you know, like in a computer where it shifts code around in order to organize it. Like, are we in the mind of God? And this reality is his dream. And like we're living in that dream. And the dream is very malleable. You know, that's, you know, like when you go to bed and you dream at night, you can like go through walls or whatever, you know, you could float or feel like you're falling or you're flying. I don't know. It does have a lot of, you know, credible points to that theory, you know, that it's like a dream reality or mind of God kind of. But then, you know, there's other people that will say, you know, it's like a simulation and we're just ones and zeros, which I never really vibed with, you know, because I don't think God is ones and zeros. You know, I don't think God is digital. I think God is spiritual and we're spirit beings. And if we're created in the image of God, then we'd be spirit as well. He's spirit, you know, he's a spirit being. We're spirit beings and we can connect on that same wavelength. So
Great answer, dude. Thumbs up.
What's your sole purpose in this army?
To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant.
God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius. That's the most outstanding answer I've ever heard. You must have a goddamn IQ of 160. You are goddamn gifted, Private Gump.
I don't think it's a digital wavelength, you know, it's a spiritual wavelength.
All they do is talk for hours and hours, but they never give you answers to the Mandela effect. We're all connected through Jehovah. That's the main answer. And thank you for watching, and thank you for your support.